we're gonna start a new game. And here we go. Also, I'm gonna drink something real quick, and then we get started. Okie dokie. So the main reason why I want to just start is because right now there's a bunch of people that like Final Fantasy V. Also, I need to update the title of the stream. Hang on. There's a bunch of people that like Final Fantasy V. And if I just start a new stream and start a challenge, it's gonna be a bit awkward because then only a few people can actually enter the raffle for deciding the name and such. So here we go, we have at least a bunch more people that can join in on this. And well, let's just get started with the thing. Alrighty, good morning, good evening and good afternoon, and welcome back everybody to our next part of the solo character challenge series with the Bard. We just finished the solo character challenge with the Summoner, where we defeated Nia Extef without using the magic lamp, and that took a while, but it was reasonably well doable, so that was not much of a problem. So now, the next thing people voted for is the Bard. And oh boy, the Bard is going to be interesting because, you know, kind of how I said Geomancer in some cases was effectively a spellcaster without any spells? Well, the Bard is going to be a somewhat similar scenario. It does have a few other things going for it. The Bard is an amazing support class in this game for a team, but unfortunately for a solo class, it is going to struggle a lot. Alrighty, so let's get started with the Bard. And once again, to repeat again, if you guys would like to join in on the raffle for telling me whether we choose Spots or Fairies, which is going to be the first winner, whether we choose what the name is going to be for the character, but which background color for the windows we are supposed to have, feel free to write !join in chat. You don't have to be around frequently, or you could just be new in here since 2 minutes or so. Feel free to join anyways if you'd like to. That is perfectly alright. So, let's get this started. Thank you, Thalphon. Alrighty, so, our little Bard. Let me make a copy of the character temp. What is that? Alright, let me make a copy of the character template here. Bard. We will have access to stop as a thing and confuse, but not until later. No slow. Charm it is. Alrighty. So, where to begin? Well, I guess we get into the specifics for a Bard soon. Because I don't have the stats yet of it. As usual, we will be switching over to the Bard character right before we enter the Wind Shrine, or the solo character right before the Wind Shrine, and that's gonna be how we are handling this. Dreamheart can inflict sleep. Yes. If only you could use it on enemies that are heavy. That's kind of what I was thinking. Oh, we can use the Dreamheart for us. Wait a second. Yeah, no. Merugene is heavy. What else? I honestly don't really see the Dreamheart being useful. Actually, we can use the Dreamheart for the little flowers in the dragon pot fight, but at the same time I can just use stop instead. Yeah, we do technically have sleep in a weird way, but we have charm in a much better way thanks to a song. Alrighty, last chance to !join in order to tell us which character we should choose, which background color, and also what we should name the winner. Or well, win the namer? Name but. Alrighty, let's get this going. I'm gonna choose in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Okay, Night Builder. Please tell me whether we should be using Butts or Ferris as our main character. That is going to be the first question. Battle speed to 5, message speed to 1, short memory cursor, and that's that. We want to choose Ferris? Alrighty, thank you so much Night Builder for choosing that. That way I also don't have to change the little picture on the right side, because I haven't created the Butts ones yet. And next, you're gonna be choosing the name of our main character, or well, the name of Butts. He is gonna be asleep most of the time, so who is gonna be the winner? RPGmail. There we go. RPGmail, please tell me what we should name Butts. You have numbers and 6 characters total, like capital letters and lower letters. Capital letters, capital case, lowercase. I think you get what I mean. Rip Bards the Bard. Yeah. It could still be Bards. Although it could also be Sleepy instead. Capital uppercase are both fine. Alrighty. RPGmail, if you have suggestions for the name, feel free to let us know. It could be anything. It doesn't have to be... well, let's put it this way. It has to be appropriate for a stream. But that's kind of the only restriction. Tunes? I like it. Is that okay? Thinking is too long. Tunes Memorios. Alrighty, thank you so much RPGmail. I appreciate that. So, and the last winner is gonna tell us what background color we are gonna be choosing for the windows. And that is Fan the Wolfman. So Fan, what should we use for the background colors on the windows? It has to be reasonably well readable. That's kind of the one restriction I have on that. There are a few sneaky ways you can squeeze in 7+ letters, like the double L. It's true, actually. I didn't think about that. Semi-dark red? Alrighty. Let's see how that looks. You didn't find this Phoenix then until your 2nd year of Fiestas? Aww. I knew about this Phoenix down before I started playing the game because I was watching 4-Chop Fiestas before I ever played Final Fantasy V. So, yeah. But at the same time, 4-Chop Fiesta was my first playthrough, so it was great. Alrighty, so a slightly darker red, you say. So this is red, this is kind of semi-dark, something like this, or darker or lighter. I'm not gonna go much lighter, but I guess this would be okay. Unless you want to... feel free to tell me if I should mix in some blue, some green, or lighter or less light. It's a pretty quick trip back to the config menu for that. Couple points darker. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. How's this? More, less. So yeah, everybody, thank you so much for participating in the raffle. I really appreciate that. Again, fan, you can still tell me. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating in the raffle. And this is going to be the start of one of our longer journeys with the Bard. Originally, I considered Bard, Thief and White Mage to be probably the slowest and weakest character in their own right. In their own right, they did have strength as well, but this is going to take a while for us until we get anywhere, really. And as usual, we actually cannot circumvent these fights. We have to fight the goblins, you cannot run. So Butts is going to level up to level 2, or well, Tunes in this case. And you learned the Hoarders of Geomancer. Yeah, White Mage was just slow. Geomancer? Well, it was slow and we had to get lucky. For anybody who does not know, Geomancer is currently the leading in most deaths with 234, and 50 of those alone were on XDeath 1. Then we had 50 deaths on the Herio plant, we had 25 deaths on Atmos. But to be fair, I fought Atmos straight up as a Geomancer. That could have been 0, in theory. We had 14 deaths to Gilgamesh on the boat. We had 13 deaths to Crayclaw. 11 random deaths, and 41 deaths to 3x death. Yes, Geomancer absolutely has its moments to shine. For example, the Lonka Ruins are a great example. And honestly, it's not bad against Neo X Death in the end. The problem for the Geomancer really is to get to the final phase of Neo X Death. I think it took us 2 tries once we finally managed to get past phase 1, the 3 phase, because White Hole just kept killing us. But the Wind Slash was really, really good. Geomancer, 50% more deaths, but was almost twice as fast over a run of White Mage. Yeah, that's actually true. White Mage did have 72.5 hours, whereas Geomancer had basically like 39.5. So it is a lot slower as a White Mage. Keebler Elf? I have no idea what that means. You never used Gaia in your Geomancer Fiesta runs, you had a Samurai? Ah, fair enough. Honestly, I like Geomancers in a party setting, if you have at least one other character that actually can deal damage. Geomancer's terrain ability is really nice to just put on any other character, really. It's a simple button, it can be useful, and it can be something to do for classes that don't have anything else to do, like a Thief, or a White Mage, or a Time Mage, or stuff like that. Just putting terrain on them, or, well, Gaia, depending on translation, is just a really nice way to give them something to do. Oh, you meant against Ned? You guild tossed it to death? Oh. I mean, I guess that works too, if you have enough money. Guild Toss does surprisingly little damage against Neo X Death because that thing has quite a bit of physical defense. But at the same time, it does really good damage and consistently too. It's just kind of expensive. The cooking brand, naming character. Geo looks like the elves on Keebler brand cookies. Oh, let me see. Keebler cookies. Maybe a little. I still like the idea of them being pajama heroes instead. What am I doing? I'm so confused. I've actually never been inside the ship at the pirates' stand here. Kirby light with his sleep power. That sounds about right. So, the one positive thing we'll have immediately going for the Bards over the Summoner at the beginning here is we have more than 30 agility. As a matter of fact, we have 32 base agility plus 3 from Ferris, that is 35 agility. Which means we effectively get 1 free turn against Carbos, which will make this a lot more reasonable than it was on the Summoner. So that's really nice. Yes, you have. You get thrown on the inside after Ferris captures you. I mean... Sure, okay, yeah. You're not wrong. Hooray! We get to play for 5 seconds. Alrighty, so we are almost where we change into our job permanently. And this time, it is going to be the infamous Bard. So, a quick introduction to anybody who... Oh, I don't have the thing active anymore. Give me a second, I need to activate some cheat codes. So for anybody who does not know, I'm using cheat codes in order to unlock the classes early. And that's kind of exactly all I do, really. I just unlock the classes early in order to be able to play them from when it's most interesting. If I were to play the classes from when they were unlocked, we would be missing out on a lot of characters, well, a lot of bosses actually, that could be quite interesting. And having to play through, well, most of the bosses in the early game here with just freelancers is not terribly interesting. Also, it's not terribly difficult either. So having a bard or summoner or something like that is gonna be a lot more interesting. Cheater, indeed. So fun fact, apparently I don't have the cheat code thing anymore, so I have to go and grab it real quick. Whoopsie. Okay, let's see. I don't know whether this is gonna work. Could be slightly embarrassing, because I might just start next time instead. It's been a while since I actually started the run, I guess. Pro action replay codes. SNES Final Fantasy V Pro action replay codes. Null reference exception. Less than ideal. FF. Not a valid WRAM address. 7E. Alright, now I'm getting confused here. No, Faris always changes out level 3. Basically, it's to make up for the fact that you walk through a cave already with the other characters being there and you're supposed to fight everything. This is awkward. Yeah, this does not work either. I'm so confused right now. Plat King, thank you for the 100 bits. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your kind words, and I'm glad you liked it. Thank you so much. Alrighty. I said that I don't understand this at all. Recent? I don't know why this doesn't work. No, Butts is level 2 with the extra experience. Alright, this is awkward. Actually, I have another idea on how to possibly do this. Ramwatch. Let's try with Ramwatch. We're gonna watch this address. Test. We're gonna poke the address. We have this value. Okay, now we have some jobs. Do we have Bard? No Bard. Okay, let's try other stuff. Alright, this is awkward. This is not how I'm meant to do this. Alrighty. 65,535 or something like that. Poke. 65,535. This looks better, but I don't think we have all the jobs. Doesn't matter as long as I have the bards. I don't have a bard. Eee. Okay. New watch. So 65,000. 5. This might be it. There we go. Alrighty, we have our bard. Okay, sorry, that was a bit more awkward than it needed to be. I'm gonna save this right now. Because this is not how this is supposed to be. Soul Cannon gives experience? I don't remember. Oh well, okay. Let's get this going. Empty. Actually, just remove the leather armor. Remove the leather armor. And wait, no, not you. You have everything. This is fine. Remove the leather armor. You also get the broadsword. Okay, so we finally get this started. So, okie dokie. Now, after this bit of delay, let's actually take a look at our next class. Number 13, Bard. So, our Bard really is, well, kind of weak, let's put it this way. Now if we just plug in the stats that we have right now, which is 19 strength, we have 2 strength more than a summoner, so I guess it's slightly better. We have 35 agility, which is substantially better than a summoner. Actually above 30 is kind of decent overall, so not gonna complain about that. We have 37 magic power, which does come into play very slightly, but only very slightly. For the most part, magic power is not particularly relevant to a bard. Then we also have a weapon attack of currently, I believe, 15 for a dagger. 14. So weapon attack for a dagger, and we also only have a dagger to work with for the most part. And our boss or enemy to come is Carbos. He has 0 defense. He has 650 HP. He is level 5. Doesn't really matter the level. Either way, in order for us to have the best shot at defeating him, I think level 14 is going to be a good way to go about it. This way we guarantee a kill on Carbos in 9 attacks, kind of like we had on the Summoner, except that we get a 1 free attack more or less because we are just faster than him. So, for anybody who does not know how these numbers work, basically, this is a little calculator that I created, thanks to, by the way, the algorithms guide on Game FAQs, shoutouts to that one. Because there's a lot of information there. How this works is basically Final Fantasy V does not give you a little bit of strength or a bit more attack or spell power each level. It kind of goes in increments of certain thresholds. Those thresholds for a dagger specifically are a bit weird because they can actually go down. So the modifier is the main thing that we're looking at. The modifier is basically literally what you duplicate or multiply your attack power with. So right now we are level 3, so we have a modifier of 2, which means we have 14 times 2 attack damage, so that's about 28. There's a bit of variance to that where you can deal a bit more damage. I believe it's up to 3 attack power more, so can be a base attack for 14 to 17. That is kind of the variance. So we will deal 28 to 34 damage with a regular dagger attack from the front row right now, on an enemy that has 0 defense. So our goal will be initially to be level 14, because our first big hurdle, as usual, is just trying to defeat Carbos. Defeating Carbos is, well, kind of a monstrosity on its own, since he really likes to just stun you. And optimizing it so we have less attacks to defeat him is going to be the way to go for us about it. Level 14 gives us an attack multiplier of 5, which means we will deal 70 to 85 damage, I believe. So on average we will need 9 attacks in order to kill Carbos, and that is going to be the initial goal. So you might think, oh, grinding already? We only just started. Yes, this is what kind of literally every single solo character has to go through, and that's just how it is. So over here we actually can go ahead and grab a few potions if we go through a short cutscene. Have you done White Mage yet? Yes, White Mage was the very first one that we cleared. When I played White Mage as a solo character challenge, I just did that one for fun without the intent of doing any other solo character challenge runs. But, well, I'm at number 13 now. The White Mage is by far the oldest run. We get a tent. We also get a snake here. I didn't know it was a snake, I didn't know. So, the Bard's main ability is Sing. It says on the right side MP, but Bard songs actually never cost you any MP ever, so that is kind of entirely irrelevant. But what this MP is saying on the right side means it's basically a spell. If you're silenced, you cannot sing. Kinda makes sense. But we won't get any songs until... oh boy. 7, 8, 9 bosses in. It will take a long time, because you're not supposed to get the Bard until you reach Crescent Island, so until then, all we have is our piddly little dagger. And let me tell you, even after that, we only have our piddly little dagger. And that's kind of how it's gonna go. So I'm gonna defend here, so my friends can go to sleep, so we can make this a real solo character challenge. Aw, Lena did not manage to quite finish herself off. We have a 50-50 chance for the snake to attack the correct target. It didn't, so that's bad. Oh well. Whoops, I did not mean to attack Ferris. I said I did not mean to attack Ferris. Alright, and with this, our solo character challenge run begins. For real. So, there is a leather hat that I'm gonna be picking up just around the corner here. Oh yeah, save point probably useful too. Lena lashing out for being excluded from solo challenges. Yeah, if you have a character that can level 1 defeat Merigene, we could pick Lena for that character. So Leather Hat only gives like 1 defense, I think. But hey, in this early stage of the game, 1 defense is actually kind of okay. So, we need a few levels, and initially I don't have a whole lot of HP to work with. As a matter of fact, if you look at our vitality, we have 17. That is the second lowest of any job class. Only a dancer has lower vitality than a bard. So that means our HP growth is going to be absolutely atrocious. Which also means we have less HP than most other characters to work with once we will deal with Carl boss. The Pyramid and Melusine was real awkward. Yeah, Antline as well. I mean, to be fair, if you can just say, maybe this class has absolutely no trouble with Melusine at all, like a Black Mage maybe can just put her to sleep and that's that. You could arguably say that you could make a Black Mage Lena. Yeah, actually, that would be a fair way to go about it, Rysalizer. You would have to prepare for that beforehand. Oh, that's another good back attack. If the White Snake actually entangled us, we might have straight up died right here. Because those Moldwind enemies have a chance to use Arrow on their second turn, which deals about 70 damage. I mean, yeah. Thing is, Melusine can be an interesting boss, kind of like we somewhat saw on the Summoner, in order to defeat her. So in this encounter here, unfortunately the White Snake is in the back row, so it would only take half damage, which means, well, it would take me a while to... Well, it will take me 2 attacks to kill the White Snake here. Wow, that paralyze lasts a long time. On the bright side, our agility kind of makes up for this. Oh, nice, alrighty. We have leather shoes, another just 1 defense. But hey, having 1 more defense is probably pretty decent. So our first goal is going to be level 7, where we have an attack multiplier of 4. Which means we deal 14 times 4, which is 56 to something damage in 1 attack. And we have level 5 now, if I'm not mistaken. Level 6 already? Oh, never mind. But either way, level 4 will make it easier to deal with the Wing Raptor coming up. Wing Raptor is effectively your tutorial boss, where you're supposed to learn on how to deal with certain enemies or not deal with them. That there's enemies that have group damage and maybe sometimes phases that change or you can't attack during it. And Wing Raptor, I often, at least during the earlier solo character challenges, I didn't really consider to be much of a boss. So I actually class changed after getting the Wind Crystals. But some of the characters struggled a bit against the Wing Raptor, so I figured it's kind of a worthy foe maybe anyways. He doesn't really require any real strategy, but just a little bit more preparation than other characters maybe. So, one other thing that we are actually looking for inside this Wind Shrine here, very specifically, is defeating a bunch of Moldwind enemies. Those Moldwind enemies have a 1 in 16 chance to drop elixirs, and you may have seen the potions that we use so far. Potions heal for 50 HP. And let me tell you, if you have, even as a little bard, you will have about 300 HP on Carl boss. 50 HP is not going to cut it. You need to use an elixir to heal up to full as quick as possible, so you can get back to attacking as quick as possible. Also, worth noting, we are level 5 now. I think those black goblins are level 6 or 7? So at some point we need to be wary of them, since they have an attack called Goblin Punch. Goblin Punch ignores your defense and deals 8 times damage if you are the same level as your target. So they would literally one-shot us if we are the same level as they are. I just never remember what level they are, so there's that. So, here's Wing Raptor. And the only thing we need to consider here is we just need to attack him. He has 250 HP. His Breath Wing is dealing 25% of our maximum health in damage. So 4 attacks we would think should kill us. But realistically, it needs 5 because of rounding. In Final Fantasy V, everything is rounded down. Also, while he is closing his wings like that, I do 0 damage to his wings because I just don't have enough strength to overcome his defense. So I have time to heal here. Also, as soon as the cursor jumps back down into the menu, without me doing or pressing the B button right here, that means he is changing his form again. Some enemies, they don't visually change their form, but they just kind of secretly change their form under the hood, so to speak. And you can use the cursor jumping down into the menu, at least on the Super Nintendo version, as a tell that they just changed forms. More than 3 years. Hey Dan or Leon, thank you so much for 37 ROMs of support. Welcome back. I'm glad you enjoy your stay. Thank you so much. That's a really long time. Oh. What did I just say about Goblin Punch? I guess they're level 7. Rip me. Alright, DEFCON start early. Number 13. Bards. I just updated the death counter on my spreadsheet, and of course I also need to update it on stream. Leon is come. Yes, Leon comes and Yaga dies. Bad omen, maybe. Have a nice melon day. Thank you so much, Leon. Welcome back to you. And well, I'm glad you enjoy your stay. Thank you so much for more than 3 years of support. That's a long time, my friend. Also, I should avoid black goblins, now that I think about it. I should actually think about it. One punch! So yeah, how are you doing, Leon? How's it going? By the way, he can use physical attacks, he just doesn't usually do it. You have a job interview? I wish you good luck with that, Leon. Hopefully it goes well. Good luck to you. Isn't it silly if regular enemies are more dangerous and devastating than the boss? This is why I don't consider this guy much of a boss. He's more of a mini-boss. Yeah, everything fine by me, I would say. I'm going to go back home to Switzerland sometime soon, TM, as in next Tuesday. So that will be a bit of a change, but aside from that, quite fine, thank you. Sweet time over. Yeah, you could say so. Ooh, okay, if this wasn't a preemptive, I would have run away. Because Mold Winds on their second turn, as mentioned, use Arrow, which deals about 70 damage. But with a preemptive, I can kill all 3 of them before they reach that turn. To be fair, even on a regular attack or move, I would potentially be able to defeat them. Aside from that, this is my favorite encounter because it gives me the highest chance for getting elixirs. I haven't gotten any so far, but that's okay. Let's complete this, go ahead and do the cutscenes in the town, and then also buy some potions, because this is gonna be quite the grind until level 14. Yeah, it's more of a concept that if you don't have a job in a specific country and you're not a, well, citizen for one reason or another, or you don't have any external reason to stay, you're only usually allowed about 3 months of stay, so that's gonna be coming up. You can, in some countries anyways, extend it for another 3 months, but at the same time, I would like to also get back home to my family sometime again. So it's gonna be nice. Bit bittersweet. Woo. I'm currently in Ohio, Anonicus. I don't think that would be a good idea, Leon. I think it gets pretty cold in the baggage department. So, teleporting outside, mainly because I will need more potions to grind anyways. And this is kind of a nice way to just relax, lean back, and I will be doing the rest of the grinding next time we do this challenge thing. Oh yeah, maybe I should actually explain how jobs work in this game, because this is not something that everybody knows. And it's always possible that somebody will watch this highlight/video on YouTube as their first one. So let me go over Final Fantasy V's system real quick. In Final Fantasy V, you can freely switch and swap any of your characters between any of the jobs that you have unlocked so far. Normally at this point in the game you would have only unlocked 6 of the jobs, that is Monk, Thief, Knight, White Mage, Black Mage, and Blue Mage. And normally that is all the jobs you have at this point in the game. However, I am using a cheat code to do the solo character challenge runs, so I can unlock the job early, otherwise I would be missing out on a bunch of bosses with that specific character. Which is, well, kind of the point of doing these solo character challenge runs, just to beat the bosses with that character. Either way, you can freely switch and swap between the characters' jobs at any point you want. Some characters have slightly better stats for certain jobs, but for the most part it really doesn't matter. Like Lena has higher magic stats, Ferris has higher agility, Balov has the highest vitality, and Tunes here has the highest strength stats, so it doesn't really make much of a difference for the most part, only if you want to hyper optimize it. Either way, on the right side to this screen here, or the cursor, you can see the Bard is level 0, dash 20 out of 25. This means we have gained 20 ability points out of 25 in order to reach level 1 of the Bard. At any level that you gain for a specific job class, you will unlock new abilities. And those abilities can either be things that the chops innately have already, like Sing for the Bard, for example, or it could be entirely new abilities that the chops have as well, like that can get as well, like Hide for a Bard, which allows you to hide off screen for a specific character. So, the idea is that you pick a chop and build it up and get a few ability points for that chop for a while, and then you switch that character to another chop. For example, Bard can learn songs which are mostly supportive. So if you train a Bard and bring it all the way up until you have a Bard mastered, so to speak, as in gotten all the chops level possible out of it, you will be able to put the Sing command on a Black Mage, for example. Black Mage will then be able to use the various songs to support the party, but also otherwise just deal damage. You can also just do it the other way around. You can first have a Black Mage as a character, or a character as a Black Mage, then they learn certain black magics or levels of black magics, and then you can turn them into a Bard and still use black magic with those guys. The main differences is what the chops can equip as weapons and equipment, and also which base stats they have. So Bards have horrible base vitality and strength is really bad. Their agility is actually quite decent overall, and their magic stat is also not too bad overall. Now, a lot of classes also have unique weapons, like Bards have harps. Unfortunately, for the most part, harps are too situational to use, that they have literally no use at all for the most part, since they have very specific ways of how they deal damage. Either way, you could eventually learn equip harps on a Bard, and certain abilities from certain chops and classes actually transfer their stats over to whatever other class you attach that ability to. So if you equip harps on a berserker, for example, that berserker would inherit 32 agility and 37 magic power. Whether that is particularly useful to you on a Bard, on a berserker, or whether you just want to use harps on a berserker, that is kind of up for debate, I guess. So that's kind of how the basic system works. And you have a lot of choices, like you unlock 6 jobs right off the bat. Also, worth noting, if you master certain jobs, their highest base stat is automatically given to the freelancer class, also their passives. For example, if you have mastered a samurai, they have a passive ability to just outright dodge physical attacks 1 in 3 times. And that passive ability will be transferred to the freelancer as well, if you master samurai on that specific class, and then subsequently choose to become a freelancer. The freelancer's base stat line is below average across the board initially, but as you master more and more jobs, and they gain the stats of the mastered classes, that is when the freelancer becomes the most powerful thing in the entire game. The L0 right on the Bard made you initially read bored. Nice. You think more of a plan. I guess we do need more of a plan, Leon. But yeah, thank you. That's how you put it. Nice, Prof Ness. I guess candy is the way to go in that case. Yes, many blankets. Oh! Leon, thank you. Thank you so much for the 500 happy rabbits. Thank you so much, Leon. That's really kind of you. So, we actually initially just visit the beginner's house and just get the items out of it. We are not beginners, but, well, I guess in a sense we are beginners, that we are kind of beginning the game anew, and with a Bard we kind of need any help we can get. Also, as a matter of fact, for once, we actually have a reason to play the pianos. So, that's exactly what we will be doing. Also, special service! Oh. I have no idea how 3 NPCs can stack up on a single tile, but apparently it's something that they can do. This is okay. So, the Bard is the only class that actually benefits from pianos at the end. So there is a total of, I think, 7 pianos over the entirety of the game. If you play all of them, which the last one is only worth 3, so it takes a long time until you get there, you will be able to unlock a song that allows you to increase your level during combat. Temporarily, just for that one combat, but you can still increase your level, which is actually really powerful overall. Like, this is nothing to sneeze at. So I'm selling ethers and 2 phoenix stones just to be able to afford more potions. Potions don't cost a whole lot, but we also don't start with a whole lot of money. Your favorite version of this song is still the Muppets version with the beaker and animal? I don't know that one, but the first time I heard the Murna Murna song was actually from the Muppets. I had no idea that was a song beforehand already. But I actually really like that version, like it sounds good. It's supposed to be a parody, I think, but it actually sounds pretty good. The original Muppet movie is having the 50th anniversary. I've never seen any Muppet movies. As a matter of fact, I've never really watched Muppets. The only time I really got to know about Muppets is when I was watching some early days memes on like E-Bomb's World and stuff like that. The song that played when the dancers were dancing for fairies is Habanera from the opera Carmen. Oh wow, I see. It's one of the most well-known songs from an opera. The Muppets did a version of it, it's great. Alright, now I have to watch it. Can you maybe put that in Discord so I don't forget about it? Do I have a Mega Man 6 playthrough? No. I've not really played through any of the regular Mega Man games yet. We did do a monthly of Mega Man X series, but Mega Man regular is still there. Oh, Might and Magic! Oh, the other Mega Man. Or the other M&Ms, I guess. No, Might and Magic not. I have played through Might and Magic 8, which is highlighted, but 6 is a thing I was strongly considering. But I had to restrain myself since I still have the duty, I would say, to play Super Mario RPG, and I had to finish Chrono Trigger first. When Magus was playing Might and Magic 6, I really wanted to play it, but I kind of need to finish these other games sometime. Mega Magic 6, Might Man 6. Sure. Alright, this is a problem because fairies will get one-shot by those black goblins, so I need a white snake in order to defeat my allies. Thank you, Recadactylus. You're actually contemplating of the possibility of a Mega Man dungeon crawler over a Meta Sigma stream the other week. Yeah, he's playing and M&M's 2, sure, let's go with that. He's playing Might and Magic 2, isn't he? I've actually never seen Might and Magic 2. I know a little bit about Might and Magic 1. I know a tiny bit about one of them. The one that asks you, where to? And you say Shangri-La. I don't even know which one that is, but it's kind of embedded in my brain because I watched the early days of me watching speedruns was on Speed Demo's archive, and I just started watching everything even if I didn't know the games. So that was one of those. 2 is too old and clunky, 3 is the first good one. Might and Man 6. Nice. So right now at level 7 we actually can one-shot the white snakes even if they are in the back row, or we are in the back row for that matter. By the way, enemies being back row or you being back row means you deal 50% physical damage. There is weapons that ignore the back row penalty, and generally magic also ignores that. But the thing is... Oh, that's not good. No! I forgot again! No! I forgot again! I'm still level 7! By the way, this is 3 deaths. I did not update the death counter earlier. Or is it 4? Hang on, is it 4? No, it's 3. I forgot! Oh, I'm horrible at this. A message with an E is correct, Leon. With an E. Otherwise, massage is a thing that is happening. I can try to think about it, but it's probably going to take a while, Leon, until I get around to it. I will play through Super Mario RPG on the SNES Mini first. Which actually means I need a monitor for it now that I think about it. No plus massage, but massages are kinda nice. But I get it. So yeah, which one is the Might and Magic with where to thing? Death in Windshrine. Bard really wants the record for deaths. Oh, trust me, the Bard is not gonna catch up on the Geomancer. It will probably catch up on terms of time with the White Mage. Also, we are level 8 now, I think. So that means we finally are out of range for the Molbins. But, as you may have noticed with our physical attack here, we actually deal less damage now. This is because the dagger has a weird bug, where it's supposed to take agility into account for how much damage it deals, but what it does instead, it gives you +1 attack power, or it, well, doesn't. Or a +1 modifier, or it doesn't. And because we had the modifier until, well, at level 7 we had that agility modifier from the dagger for dealing more damage, but at level 8 we don't have it anymore. And we don't get it back until like level 12 or so. So this is why we actually deal less damage now with our physical attacks until like level 12. And Zolar Cell, thank you for the raid and the host, I appreciate that. Thank you for the good luck to you. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the beginning of a really long journey that, well, will be the solo character Bard challenge for Final Fantasy V. So, yeah, we're just going to grind here for a while. Which, by the way, I haven't gotten lucky at all with elixir drops on this one. We got, however, 2 leather shoes already, which is also 1 in 16 drop chance. The unfortunate part about this is that I will need at least like 8 or 9 elixirs in order to get through the early stages of the game as a Bard. So if I reach level 14 before getting 8 elixirs or 9, that is probably rather unlucky. Which I'm not even sure that's necessarily true. Because I feel like I've just gotten lucky with other characters to get a bunch of elixirs very quickly. It's in Might and Magic 3 or both 4 and 5. I see. I think it's probably 3. 4 and 5 I think look better than what I have in memory for the Shangri-La snake. I know you can't just input various codes in order to get ridiculous equipment and then just breeze through the game, that's what the speedrun does. But whenever I see anything or hear anything in any game that just kind of asks where to, I always hope it's a reference to Might and Magic, and If the game lets me, I would want to type in Shangri-La. Shangri-La's in 4 and 5? Okay, I was wrong then. Thank you. 4 and 5 was basically World of Scene and Dark Clouds of Scene, I think. I believe Might Magic 4 and 5 is kind of like a double feature game or so. The two games are combined into one, right. I've never played it myself. I have, however, watched... So, the first ever Let's Play I've watched on YouTube that was in English, I watched from a certain gentleman that was called RP Genie. Or RPG Genie? I think it was RP Genie. Either way, RP Genie, I've watched his series of Might Magic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and parts of 9, I guess. But this was kind of the first time I watched somebody play games in English. Before that, my English was actually kind of not that great. And I learned to understand spoken English thanks to him actually quite a great deal too. Oh wow. Hello, that's a lot of people. Good luck on thing. I will need it. Hey, thank you so much for the host, PJ. I appreciate that. And welcome everybody. I hope you're doing well. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. We are currently just embarking on our adventure for Final Fantasy V, a solo character Bards challenge. And let me tell you, this has the potential to be slower than White Mage. And White Mage was already super slow. And we are currently aiming to reach level 14 on our Bard here, in order to be able to defeat Boss, which actually might pose a problem because I need to get enough elixirs before that. And right now we have gotten 0 of them. But at the same time, this will still take like half an hour or so until we are level 14 before we can attempt to defeat the first boss. So yeah. Thank you for the good luck, I will definitely need it. Yes, 76.5 hours it was for the White Mage. By the way, this is not a single sitting, this is just multiple sittings, in case anybody is curious about that. So if I may ask, what were you doing over there? I've seen that I think PJ the Caesar, or PJ, started learning Mega Man 6, if I'm not mistaken. Which is quite an interesting game. Also, we don't deal enough damage to the back row, we can't one-shot white snakes, so we run away. Nuts and bolts, oh! I actually have no idea about nuts and bolts, but watching Peter is always fun. I know you did Alphabet Challenge, and I think now you do some kind of unique challenge? I don't actually know what that entails. Nice. For anybody who may have been lurking around here, make sure to check out PJ the Caesar, because he is pretty awesome. Like, one of the greatest personalities you can find overall on Twitch. Highly recommend you check him out. Just doing nuts and bolts. Actually, it's a challenge where he is building vehicles only using one of any given block/piece on the vehicle. Alright. I need to look into that. I feel like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts is one of the most interesting games in terms of reception that I've seen of any game. Because I know a lot of people really don't like the game, but it's more because they really fondly... This is not good, I need to run. Those Moldwins can use Arrow in the second turn, which deals about 70 damage. I don't know whether I would have survived them casting Arrow right there, so I'd rather run away. Either way, I think Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts was poorly received mainly because it was such a strong deviation from its predecessor, but at the same time, I've heard people say that they really enjoyed Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie and really hated nuts and bolts, but their kid actually loved nuts and bolts a lot more than Banjo-Kazooie and stuff. So that was always kind of interesting to me. It's basically perspective, and to me, it just looks really curious what you can do in that game. I like it. You love nuts and bolts so much? Yeah. It actually looks pretty awesome. It's a very different game than Banjo-Kazooie. No doubt about that. Wow, more leather shoes. We haven't gotten a single elixir. We have, however, gotten 3 pairs of leather shoes. The goblins have a 1 in 16 chance to drop leather shoes, and those moldwind enemies have a 1 in 16 chance to drop elixirs. And we need elixirs, and well, after the first pair of leather shoes we don't need anymore. The wheels and wings have made things really difficult, and running out of fuel ammo. Do you have to attach the wings individually, like left and right? That actually sounds interesting, to say the least. And yeah, Stormy Galaxies, that sounds about right. To be fair, not nearly as many people... Well, actually don't know that. I would guess not as many people would know about Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts if you didn't have that title. Left and right wing are separate pieces, so you can't use them both, so you have an airplane with only a left wing. Does that actually work? That sounds like fun, actually. I need to check out your vaults. Did I just level up? Alright, we have reached level 10. And I'm really concerned about our elixir count right now. This is unusual. This is literally the first character where I may farm for elixirs outside of farming for levels, which actually will be a problem. So, real quick, switching over here to numbers real quick. So I have plugged in the numbers for the bard stats into this little calculator, and what is important is the modifier here. This modifier kind of indicates how much our attack is multiplied by, and level 14 I have determined that we have an attack multiplier of 4, whereas anywhere, well, before that or after that, we only have a multiplier of 4. Level 14 having 5 is just better. And level 19 is the next best level, where we would have a multiplier of 5, which is the same damage as at level 14. We deal less damage from level 15 to 18. So this is kind of an extreme case of where I will struggle to have enough elixirs if I only need to get to level 14, if I don't start getting lucky here. And if I accidentally, or well, have to level up after or past level 14, this also has another problem, because the very first boss that we will be encountering, we need to get lucky in order to beat him. The problem is, if we are level 16 or higher, we actually get out of the stun slightly faster, which is a problem because the boss will try to apply a stun normally just before you get out of the stun, and you cannot apply another paralysis when you are already paralyzed. However, if we just get out of paralysis because we are higher level and, well, the status effects last not quite as long, he will just be able to paralyze or chain paralyze a lot more easily, and that is a problem. So yeah. Also, I keep going on tangents without reading chat. Okay, man. Surprisingly it does. It works, but it drifts really, really bad. If you try to lean right, you just barrel roll instead of turning. How do I anticipate the Bard run will go? Well, I'm already contemplating starting the Berserker run during the Bard run. So the only really saving grace for the Bard as a character in a lot of cases will be the ability to hide. Especially at least until we get the songs that allow us to improve our stats dramatically. And even then, as a solo character, singing is not that great. Either way, yeah, it will be slow because one of our main abilities is hide. What we can do with hide is we can literally just hide off screen, no enemy can target us, we cannot get hit, and they will use their abilities and attacks, and it will drain their MP, and that's literally how you will have to fight certain bosses. You have to wait off screen until they're all out of magic. And it takes literal hours for some bosses. This is why I'm probably going to go ahead and start the Berserker run during the Bard run. Just have the little Bard sit on the side. Because we will be waiting. We will be waiting. For the rest of it, we will be grinding for the most part. Yeah, unfortunately the weapons for the bards exclusively, the harps, have a very big problem. That big problem is the harps of the weapon, the harps as a weapon of the bard always deal percentile damage. For example, the weakest harp deals 1/16th of the enemy's current HP in damage. That's not a whole lot, unless the enemy has an insane amount of HP. In which case, it's mostly bosses. But there's another problem. Percentile damage mostly does not work against bosses outside of specific instances, so you will not be able to use the harps against them where it's most useful. So harps, for the most part, are unfortunately completely useless. The Apollo's harp is the one exception because it's based off magic power for attack strength rather than percentile damage. So yeah. And hey, Mr. Frog, welcome to you. Welcome back. We actually took down Neo Xdef as the summoner without using the magic lamp, so that was an extra challenge completed there. I'm glad you think so, Kojanue. It's just, I'm really bad at reading chat because of it. So if I miss anything in chat, feel free to repeat it or point it out again. Because, yeah. Really? Another pair of shoes? Oh my goodness. The Apollo's harp is fine against dragons. In fact, against dragons it absolutely demolishes them. But unfortunately, anything outside of dragons? Not really. Open a shoe store. Trade shoes for elixirs? I feel like people are not gonna take me up on that offer. Lamia's harp plus firing versus the Crystal Guardians. Actually, yes, the Lamia's harp will have some uses against some bosses that are not heavy. Those bosses are specifically the Dragon Plant and the Crystal Guardians. I think that's it. I don't think early bosses that are not heavy will be particularly susceptible. Maybe Archeo Avis. Second and fourth form. Was Twin Tanya a dragon? No. I actually don't know whether it's a magical beast. It's definitely not a dragon. The only dragons that are particularly relevant, I would say, are Shinryu, Neo Xdef Part 2, the Grand Cross part, and Leviathan. Bahamut, by the way, is not a dragon. Don't ask me why. Not classified as a dragon. We are level 11 by the way, which means we have an attack multiplier of 4, so we can once again one-shot enemies that are in the back row. So we just deal barely enough damage for that. Leviathan is a dragon, yes. You don't need to fight Bahamut unless you have a summoner anyways. It's true. And if you have a summoner, it's easy enough to just use Carbuncle. Charizard and Bahamut should form a non-dragon club. Maybe. Honestly, the two saving graces for a Bards are going to be, it has above average agility, which is kinda nice, and being able to hide is actually an asset. By the way, if I try to hide in random battles, if your entire party is hidden or dead, hey, my first elixir, finally. If my entire party is hidden or dead, I will run away from combat automatically. So even if I did not want to, that's exactly what will happen. Which is nice if you want to run away, but not so great if you just want to hide. Oh, in this case I should actually take out the white snake, because that's the thing that actually paralyzes me. I'm just used to not dealing enough damage with physical attacks in order to take them out in one hit in the back row, but now I do. Yes, I mean, hide is absolutely more useful than flee in the solo character challenge, to say the least. Besides, we actually don't have anything else we can equip on a Bard, even if we wanted to have anything else. So hide will always be there, pretty much no matter what. So by the way, it takes an action to hide and it takes an action to unhide. So unless you're literally twice as fast as a boss, you will not be able to use the hide command in regular boss fights for particularly useful purposes outside of specifically dodging certain turns. And that is actually kind of where hide will come into play quite a bit. The thing is, our damage output will just kind of be horrible for most of the game until we get the chicken knife. It's not gonna be nearly as bad as it was for the White Mage, since we have access to daggers, and daggers are actually some of the best weapons in this game. Yes, that's a bard. Ah, I see. Fair enough. Yes, K noises. Literally hide from Puroboros Hellfight. Unfortunately, they don't explode without a target. So it will still be useful in the Puroboros fight in order to whittle them down, but you can't hide all fights. Actually, a Puroboros are not heavy, are they? You can just stop them as well, which is probably easier. Will it be fast enough to hide from Condemn? On the first turn, no. So for XDF at the end of World 2, you always got Condemned at the beginning of the battle. XDF will always get his initial turn, and there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, that one. Leviathan is more like a sea serpent. I mean, so is Gyarados, but Gyarados is not considered a dragon, even though he launched Dragon Rage and stuff like that. But on the other hand, Altara is a dragon. And the gigantic palm tree is a dragon too. Executor, a lowland form. It's amazing. I think my favorite dragon is that slimy butts dragon thing though. I think that's really cute. How did I get here? 1 in 16. No elixirs. By the way, it takes longer and longer to level up. So up until level 12 it went reasonably decently quick. But let me tell you, the next few levels are gonna be slower and slower and slower, and it really will not help in the least. Slower and slower and slower. Wait, what did I want to say? It will not help in the least, what? Brain, please. Oh yeah, it will not help in the least going past level 14. As a matter of fact, as mentioned before, I will deal less damage. So I really would like to have those elixirs before then. I think I need 8 at least. I can probably make do with 6. But that's kind of the bare minimum. Ow. Gudra's your second favorite dragon. Dragon will always be your favorite. Fair enough. Alrighty, by the way, I'm probably not gonna get to car boss today, so let me actually just real quick explain as to why the first boss coming up is such a monster and menace. So, I have my first page here for the Bard. I'm gonna continue grinding in the side. So, the way enemies work in Final Fantasy III is they operate with a 1 in 3 possibility of whatever they attack they choose. Most enemies have just kind of their main attack multiple times or even all the time in their script. For example, those black goblins, they have a 2 in 3 chance to use regular attacks and a 1 in 3 chance to use Goblin Punch. Just kind of an example. So, the first boss is gonna be Carl Boss. He has 650 HP, which means at level 14 we need 9 attacks in order to kill him. And let me tell you why that is such a big problem. Carl Boss has the following AI script. In the first turn, he is going to do 1 in 3 times, use Fight, as in just a regular attack, and 2 in 3 times, he will use Specialty. Specialty means, in this case, it is going to be an attack that also paralyzes. So it deals both damage, like Fight, but also paralyzes on top of it. And that's kind of why this is such a big problem. As a solo character being paralyzed, which means you literally can't do anything. All you can do is hope that he doesn't kill you in the meantime. Which brings me to the second turn. In the second turn, he has a 1 in 3 chance to use a regular attack, kind of like before, a 1 in 3 chance to use the stun attack again, and a 1 in 3 chance to use Tail Screw. Now Tail Screw is kind of where this kind of bit gets pretty mean, as you will soon notice, because what Tail Screw does, hey, nice, a second elixir. What Tail Screw does is it puts you into critical HP. Critical HP means 9 or less HP. It can be as little as 1, but the highest is 9. And Carl Boss does about 36 damage per attack. So you can see where the problem arises here. You are paralyzed for quite a lengthy amount of time whenever you get hit by Carl Boss with his stun attack. So what can happen is Carl Boss has a 2 in 3 chance to stun you on the very first turn. Then he decides to use Tail Screw in the next attack, which puts you into critical HP. You can't do anything until after his next turn, which means he can just then attack you or, well, stun attack you in order to just straight up kill you. So this is kind of the classic Carl boss combo where you literally can't do anything. As a bard, we have enough agility to get one turn in before Carl boss can do anything. So in a sense, we kind of get one free attack and we are slightly faster than him, which is a big deal, since we will be able to recover from the stun and then be able to just do our thing right after. So however, because Carl boss can stun you on literally every single turn, and on the first turn he has a 2 in 3 chance to stun you, it becomes a pure game of chance. And, well, to give you an illustration, for our little summoner in the previous battle, we didn't have any weapons, no summons at all at this point, since you are not supposed to get the summoner until the second crystal. It took us 59 deaths to defeat Carl boss. That's a lot of deaths. And we grinded a long time to get to the appropriate level too. Bard has a very slightly more attack power thanks to its strength, so that's a plus. But beyond that, Bard has not really anything more going for it than a summoner. So we are just kind of at the mercy of RNG. Which is why we want to really optimize as in how much damage we do and how many attacks it takes to defeat specifically Carl boss. For other bosses, not as relevant. Well, that's probably not true as a bard. But specifically important for Carl boss. I'm glad you like those, Kojanu. Kojanu? You think your agility will be a problem if the timing of paralyze hits. So, when I actually specifically checked out the algorithms guide for that purpose, it did not mention anything about agility being relevant for how long the paralyzation lasts. And the paralyzation duration was actually the main problem about the summoner getting stunned for such a long time. Or just continuously getting stunned. However, agility has to play some role because a thief actually seemed to get stunned for or paralyzed for longer for whatever reason. And I have no idea why. Also, this is a nice encounter. Unfortunately, if just 2 of them use their wind attack, I'm dead, so I have to run. So I think higher agility is almost strictly beneficial in the case of Carl boss. And I'm mostly worried about specifically hitting level 16, actually. Because every 4... wait, was it 8? I think every 4 or every 8 levels, you recover from a status effect 1 unit of speed quicker. For a frame of reference, if you have exactly 0 speed, as in 0 agility, you have 120 time units until you get your turn as a character. If you have 30 agility, you have 120 minus 30 agility, meaning 90 time units until you get your turn. If you have haste, the 90 would be halved, so you would have 45 time units until you get your turn. So effectively, agility's strength or power is doubled for the purposes of having haste. Oh, another elixir. Nice, okay, we are starting to get some, that's nice. Still need 5 more preferably, at least 3. Kojanu. Thank you for the pronunciation guide. So for the layout swaps, basically I kind of came up with that idea because I like to just show the things that I'm doing on the side for calculation and figuring out stuff. And at some point I just decided to duplicate the layout and put the well, spreadsheet into the thing as well. I refined that a little bit later, because initially it was just literally all over the place, but now it's actually nicely within the borders. But I have to admit, I'm a little bit proud of my spreadsheets that I've created for this. So I guess that's that. And if you know me, there's not a whole lot where I say I'm proud of it, but sometimes that's a thing. I'm usually very self-critical. It's not like those spreadsheets are great or perfect, but I like them. They're mine, I created those. Which, by the way, once again, shoutouts to the Algorithms Guide on Final Fantasy V from Game FAQs, because most of the information is derived from there. Also shoutouts to sola.com, that is Sola with 3 L's, because I got a lot of information and also, well, just ideas from that website as well, where Sola has most of the solo character challenges written down in diary form, and it's actually a pretty good read. Thank you. I actually kind of like how the 4-Chop Fiesta spreadsheet ends up looking. Because in the 4-Chop Fiesta opening race, I just kind of started compiling more and more information about all kinds of things and started displaying them in my spreadsheet. And because I wanted to have the information easily and quickly accessible, hang on, let me show you. That's a separate spreadsheet that I use once in a while for, well, more quick and dirty purposes in comparison. So if I go over to this one, so for example, I always found it really awkward that the Algorithms Guide tells you what the enemy is immune to, but what is he weak to? So I created this little overview of a boss, what kind of weakness he has to certain status effects, and just put it in a list form like this. This is more nicely done now in specifically this kind of template here, where I have a boss, I see the green things that I have access to, where it's like I can select, I have charm, sleep and stop status effects that I can use against enemies, and if they are weak against any of these status effects, I can see this. For example, these guys here are all weak to stop, this guy can even be confused, etc. But also elemental advantages or not advantages. So if I have lightning, I could use it against Carl boss, it lights up yellow, so that looks nicer. But this is kind of my baseline that I ended up using. This is a spreadsheet from Dragondark. I copied this over so I could modify the data a little bit, so it's more useful for me. So all of this information is basically just copied from all over the place, so shoutouts to Dragondark for this one. This is effectively a capture blue magic guide, and also steals and all kinds of stuff from various interesting enemies in an order of how you encounter them in the game, which is actually incredibly helpful. Then what else do we have? Wonder Rod. This is literally how I look up how or which thing comes next in the Wonder Rod thing. I use it actually pretty frequently. What else do we have? Do we have? Sure. There's a level chart, I don't use this one. Chop map was for the 4-Chop Fiesta opening race, although not this year. Here is a calculator for, also originally for the 4-Chop Fiesta, which character has which stats breakthroughs for agility and strength at which levels. Damage calculator, actually that's a pretty basic one. Oh, there's the catch and release by Dragondark. Wait, where's the other one from then? I think both of them are by Dragondark actually. This information is found in the Algorithms Guide, etc. So, I'm sorry if I burned somebody's eyes. This is kind of the main reason, because I show this on stream. Which is why I made it dark with white text instead, because that's easier on the eyes for most people. Yeah. Did you ever get the death count data from your White Mage run? Yes, actually. Huge shout out to a certain person on Twitch, gentleman, lady, whatever you might want to be. Onslaught Gamer actually went through the entirety of the White Mage run and collected all the data for the White Mage. And if Onslaught Gamer is still around, he or she or they still have the opportunity to tell me which job I should be playing next. They still have that option open, because that was kind of the reward that I put out there. So, huge thanks to Onslaught Gamer. By the way, if any of you want to just copy over a spreadsheet and use it for your own purposes, be my guest. That is perfectly fine. I mean, it's not like I could stop you from doing that, but just saying. Oh yeah, sometimes in my spreadsheets you will find kind of random sheets that have a bunch of numbers in them, because for me it's often kind of a lot easier to just calculate stuff in the spreadsheet form. For example, actually I can just show this to you, might as well, because I have time. For example, here on the Summoner against Neo Xdef, what I end up doing is I ended up recording each individual number of how much damage I dealt to each part, or was dealt to each part, and basically have a mini calculator here where it counts down from each individual part's maximum HP all the way down to 0. So in this case, if I remove these, the Almagus part here has 55,000 HP total. If we deal max damage to it, like 9,999, it loses that, and I can have exactly a number on how much HP it has remaining. Sometimes I do some stuff on the side, and for this case, how much damage Golem could still absorb, just on the side. So I just do those random number thingies, because it's easier to do on the spreadsheet than on individual calculators on desktop. Elixir? No. Okay. We're level 13. We only have 3 elixirs. This is not enough at all. So I either start running away from anything that is not 3 Moldwind encounters, or I start leveling up towards level 19. "19 is not too unreasonable. It will probably still take about an hour more though, but at least I'm not doing less damage then. I'm still mostly worried about level specifically 16 and the stun duration for Carl boss. Oh, another elixir, nice. It's actually also kind of awkward to just level up to 19. At that point I might as well go to level 21, because I would only need 7 hits in order to defeat Carl boss, which still requires enough luck that it'll take a while. But it would be a little bit nicer. Oh well. Elixir, please! It's only a 1 in 16 chance, so chances are not that great. It's effectively 15 in 16, or 15 divided by 16 to the power of 3 to determine whether I get any elixirs at all from these enemies. Or what the chance is to not get any elixirs more specifically. Yeah, more of these, please. 3 more wins is exactly what I'm looking for. So is the grinding here more for the items or more for the experience? Mostly elixirs, but other places are not really much better, if better at all, depending on character. I'm actually going to go for this fight here. It's not gonna be pretty, but it's 3 wins. It's actually mostly just for to get elixirs. For other characters I actually had by now 8, 9, 10 elixirs already, because I got really lucky on them. On the Bards, well, not so much. So there is other places where you get slightly more experience, but the problem mainly is that these other places contain enemies where you need to use more than 1 hit, at least on most characters where that kind of grinding is even relevant. You need more than 1 hit in order to defeat those enemies, and that makes it probably less efficient than just staying in the Wind Shrine. And really, the elixirs are probably going to be helpful in future encounters anyways, so might as well stay here, even if it takes like, let's say 5 to 10 minutes longer. In more extreme cases like the White Mage, it could have potentially been faster to go to other places too, but that is very debatable, since White Mage does not even reliably one-shot enemies at level 20 here. Because they only have staves as weapons, and that is not reliable. Skill won't be too much of an issue in the immediate future. There is very few solo characters that have any problems at all with money, honestly. Money is for the most part pretty much no problem. It is initially a slight issue until you get all the potions, but after that it's just like, well, you don't have anything to buy anyways. Until you get into World 3, where you can finally acquire or buy elixirs, and even then, some classes just don't need them. But yeah, on the Summoner for example, we grinded over 100,000 gold on the Black Flames, just because I wanted to get to a certain level. And that just happened to amass rather easily without me doing much, since I'm not really buying anything, so I was all able to purchase an Angel and also a Flame Ring, which I ended up actually using, which is surprising. So let's see. Wait, we are level 14 already. This is not good. This is not good at all. I did not have enough elixirs. This is an unusual problem. This is a very unusual problem. I need to think about this. Alrighty. I'll think about it how I want to solve this, and well, we'll tackle this some other time, I would say, because it's been 7.5 hours of stream. That is kind of a good amount, I would say. So, everybody, thank you so much for watching, for listening, and for lurking. I hope you enjoyed the stream one way or another, and, well, hope to see you again sometime. Thank you very much.